Micronesia since 1938. Matson, celebrating 25 years of commitment to Guam, Micronesia, and the CNMI. Cars Plus Hyundai, home of the Kona electric vehicle, an electric heart with an SUV soul. Test drive yours today at Cars Plus. McDonald's of Guam, I'm Loving It, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Tonight on Primetime, local authorities respond to a report of a shooting in the Jigo area near the Anderson Air Force Base front gate. And how to fund $500 in power bill credits, the debate continues at the legislature. Plus, the People's Choice, the best Liberation Day floats according to you, announced at Fandania Friday. These stories and more up ahead on KUAM, the voice of the Marianas. Hafa and good evening, everyone. I'm Hannah Devonzo, and thanks for tuning in to your news leader. Officers from the Guam Police Department and detectives with the Criminal Investigation Division were on the scene this afternoon after a report of a shooting in the Jigo area near the Anderson Air Force Base front gate. Upon arrival, officers located two lifeless male adults. Yellow crime scene tape could be seen blocking off the dirt road, which leads to a wood and tin structure. The story is developing and will update you as we receive more information. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and KUAM.com for updates. And senators are expected to vote next week on a proposal to provide $500 in power bill credits for GPA residential and commercial customers. They met Wednesday in an emergency session where Republicans questioned why the governor is using local funds to cover the cost instead of federal ARPA funds. Here's more.
It wasn't so much a question of whether senators will approve the $100 a month power bill credits, but what pot of money will be used to fund it. The measure by Senator Joe San Augustine would use local general fund monies, but Republicans like Senator Jim Moylan said why not the millions that are still left in federal ARP funds? He says the CNMI transferred $7.5 million in ARPA to subsidize $500 worth of power bills for their more than 6,000 residential customers.
I'm sure they got the same rules that we have, but somehow their interpretation says they agree they can use this. Now, Mr. Burnham, I'm sure you can assist me on this, please. Can you provide us with a clear evidence that we can use federal ARPA funds for this utility credit program?
Administration Director Edward Byrne says it's not in the Treasury rules, and they don't want to risk having to pay back the $25 million it will cost.
I can find no evidence. And maybe somebody else can go through it and point it out to me, but I can find no evidence that a rate increase caused by, or primarily caused by a war in Europe is authorized to be spent under federal funds in order to be offset by those federal funds.
But Moylan says, what about the $15 million in ARPA funds the administration gave GPA last year to hold down rates?
We did it before, but we can't do it now. How was that justified, but now it's not justified?
Byrne said that's because back then they were operating under more lenient interim rules.
This time we're operating under final rules that don't permit it. We were advised by the Treasury that anything that we did, providing it wasn't too flagrant under the interim rules, would be agreed to by the Treasury, but that we had to abide by the final rules.
Republicans, though, were unconvinced, and Senator Frank Blah said they want input on the federal rules from another side, namely Delegate Michael St. Nicholas.
I'd like to move to that we recess till Monday at 10, and then at that time reach out to the Congressman's office and ask if the our delegate to Washington, Congressman Mike St. Nicholas, can come before the body to be able to provide basically his opinion and what his take on what funding can be utilized for this initiative, and in good faith, give him enough time to be able to respond.
The emergency session reconvenes at 10 a.m. Monday. For KUAM News, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
The government of Guam has raked in a whopping nearly $100 million more than it projected in general fund revenue. The latest consolidated revenue and expenditure report for June, released by the Budget Bureau, shows business privilege tax collections are tracking $56.5 million higher than projected, and overall income tax collections are tracking $44.9 million more than the adopted estimate, with individual income tax collections coming in at $29 million higher and withholding tax revenues $12.4 million more than projected. While some other tax revenue categories are coming in lower overall as of June, the government is tracking to end the fiscal year on September 30th with $99.4 million in excess revenue over projections. That's an increase of some $14 million more than the month of May's figure of $85.7 million. The government's current fiscal status also came up in a separate discussion at the emergency session. Minority Leader Chris Dueñas said before they decide on spending another $25 million from the general fund for the power bill credits, they need to know if the general funds still truly have a surplus.
That will affect.
Senator Dueñas referenced the financial statements audit released this week by Public Auditor B.J. Cruz. They indicate that the general fund ended fiscal year 21 in the black by $30 million, the first surplus since 2013. But Dueñas said in deliberating on the GPA credit bill, they need to take into account how much was actually expended of all the legislative appropriations that were passed since then.
The audited financials were, in 2021, $79.2 million above adopted revenues. But the final number is $30.5 million. Obviously, there was deficit elimination. Bills that we don't know what was paid, they were paid. So if we appropriated close to $79 million of that excess revenue after everything's closed and the audit goes forward and we only have $30.5 million of audited revenue, there is a suspicion that there could be a $40 million deficit.
Public Auditor B.J. Cruz's response?
I think if financial management does the controls, they can stay within the budgeted amount and any excess that might be received as a result of the revenue projection being as low as it was.
But Dueñas reiterated his point that he's not so sure the legislature hasn't already appropriated beyond whatever surplus was available.
Because you have no control over what the governor does. The governor can say, absolutely, all those bills passed, all that money's encumbered, all that money's expended. But if you appropriate it to 79 and the audited revenue available is only 30.5, you got a 40 million plus deficit. So you got to carry that forward and take that in consideration because, as you said, the CRER will adjust if this bill passes.
And on that note, he said, expect some amendments from him come Monday. For KUAM News, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Still to come on your News Leader National Headlines, these stories and more coming up next.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Santa Fe family.
Half a day. I'm Governor Lou Leon Guerrero, and I'm proud to report that we have opened a new relief center to help you as we continue to recover from the pandemic.
From healthcare to welfare, childcare, housing, and utilities, we have a wide variety of direct relief programs available to help you.
This central location provides direct access to most of our public assistance programs under one roof. Our friendly staff are ready to help you through the application process.
We are working to ensure you get the assistance you need to receive the relief available to you and your family.
This means more support to help you meet the cost of living and give you more money in your pocket.
We are improving how government is working. Our administration continues to invest in Guam's future, delivering relief and driving our recovery.
Visit the Government of Guam Relief Center at the 3rd floor of the Bank of Hawaii building in Hagåtña, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or call us at 671-475-2060.
4 years ago, we expressed our belief that a strong economy depends on a strong middle class, that small businesses need help to survive in tough times, and new industries are needed to diversify our economic base. The pandemic proved us right in so many ways.
We said we would support tax cuts for small businesses, and we did. We said we would streamline government services to create a more business-friendly environment, and we are. We said we would invest in infrastructure improvements, and we have. We said we would expand opportunities for our people to learn much-needed trades, and we delivered.
Let's continue this progress. We are all in this together, and we humbly ask for your vote. This is Governor Lou Leon Guerrero, and I approve this message.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
Subscribe to our KUAM News Digest, our weekly email newsletter with all kinds of information straight to your inbox. Just subscribe and we'll make sure to keep you informed and entertained with news from the KUAM News team, what to watch on NBC and CBS, and the latest promotions from KUAM Communications. Go to KUAM.com, click on the newsletter tab at the top of the homepage, register, and you're all set. Brought to you by Uno Go, Guam on Demand.
After a celebratory 78th Liberation Day, the festivities continue through the day and into the night at Ipoh Beach Park for the community's enjoyment. Here's more.
The Liberation festivities are not over, and the celebrations continue at Ipoh Beach Park with food trucks, kid rides, music, and more. For Fandango Friday, many vendors are offering free activities for the community's enjoyment throughout the day. Among those we spoke to was Roberto Pitter, who's the owner of Pit Shop Rentals. He's offering free activities for those who stop by until 9 p.m. They seem to be a community favorite.
Today we have the climbing wall, 24-foot climbing wall, and then we have our Power Wheels, which is a kid favorite with the ATVs, the mini ATVs. And then also we have the Caterpillar, which is a lawnmower with donkeys behind it, and that's really popular. Yeah, come on down, enjoy the day, and it's free rides for everyone. You need to come and get a band to ride my rides, and then you can be here.
And that's not all that's available. The Muse Face and Body Art tent was flooding with kids waiting in line. But of course, all ages are welcome, according to the owner, Julianne Donato.
Today we are offering free henna tattoos, face and body painting, and balloon twisting.
Muse Face and Body Art will be open until 8 p.m. and is encouraging the community to come by. While people move between different activities, the community can also stop by the food trucks. One of them parked on the lawn until 10 p.m. is Hooker Fusion. The owner, Ennis James Hooker, is encouraging residents to stop by and taste their food.
Some of the things we're offering is yakisoba. We're offering, like I said, yakisoba, takoyaki, curry. We have a lot of good stuff here. We have, let's see, a bacon and rice on a stick. That's our specialty. We really, that's probably our best seller. Plus, we have a lot of drinks. We have pina colada. That's our unique drink, and iced teas. So come on out and have a good time.
And to close out the festivities with a bang, there will be a drone and fireworks show for residents' enjoyment beginning at 9 p.m. Shuttles to Epal Beach Park are available from John F. Kennedy High School and the former Guam Greyhound Park in Tamuning.
And the Liberation Day celebration continues on our KUAM Facebook page. You, the people of Guam, selected this year's best floats, and they are under the government category. It is USS Emory S. Land AS-39. For the community category, it is Santa Teresita Catholic Church. Tan Holdings Guam is the fan favorite for business floats, and the Inalahan Mayor's Office bagged the top votes for the village category. Truly, all the floats are beautiful, and we congratulate everyone who worked on them. And the CNMI's newest airline is set to launch by mid-August, just a few weeks away. Mariana's Southern Airway is shipping its twin-engine planes to Saipan. However, according to the company, they've had a slight delay with their arrival due to permissions necessary to ferry them through various countries and a ban on ferrying them through Russia. They added, "This has forced us to change our plans and find alternative routes for delivery." The new airline plans to launch over 90 weekly flights within the NMI, including flights to and from Guam. They will compete with Star Marianas, which provides the only inter-island commercial air travel to and from Saipan, Tinian, and Rota. After a controversial reassignment that some say is politically motivated, the CNMI Director of Customs, Jose Mofnas, was transitioned to the Department of Commerce as the Director of Export Importance and Public Outreach, and NMI Secretary of Finance, David Adelaide, wants to set the record straight. He says that he made the reassignment of Mofnas with reservation, but he says that the move is an effort to increase collaboration between...
To the camera from the White House balcony.
Symptoms are mild, and I really appreciate your inquiry and your concerns.
The president recently returned from the Middle East and was in Massachusetts Wednesday, where he came into contact with several members of Congress.
I understand that the symptoms are light. I hope they continue to be so. That was my experience.
The president's doctor says his symptoms are mild and include a runny nose, fatigue, and occasional dry cough. He's being treated with the antiviral drug Paxlovid.
The goal of Paxlovid is to keep people from getting seriously ill.
President Biden, who is 79, has been reminding Americans that he's been vaccinated and boosted twice.
Every American deserves access to the best vaccines, the best treatments, and they are widely available.
Former President Trump became infected with COVID just before the 2020 election and was flown to Walter Reed Medical Center for aggressive treatment.
We're in a very different place than when former President Trump got COVID. That was before we had vaccines. It was before we had Paxlovid.
President Biden postponed a crime prevention event in Pennsylvania today. The White House says he will continue to carry out all of his duties in isolation until he tests negative. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, the White House.
Stay tuned. Up next, Dave Delgado with your roundup of local sports.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
Lunches, snacks, we got diapers for baby girl. Oh, 7:15, we gotta go. Bread, milk, gas for work. Remember to grab Joe Boy a birthday present. Half a day.
Hey, Molly, how much do you pay for daycare for the kids?
Over $600 a month. It's expensive.
Did you hear about the governor's program that covers up to $675 a month for childcare?
Wow, that would be a lifesaver with the rising cost of everything.
Check guamchildcare.com to apply. We qualified. I even booked an appointment for someone to walk me through the process.
guamchildcare.com. Okay, thanks. I'll apply today.
This ad is paid for with federal funds administered by DPHSS.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa, you can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Tomorrow's NPC Guam National Bodybuilding Championships will feature bodybuilding, classic physique, bikini, physique, and figure divisions. Prejudging begins at 9 in the morning with the finals getting underway at 6 p.m. at the Riga Royal Laguna, Guam.
Hey everyone, my name is Danny Baisa. I'm from Jigo, and this is going to be my first show. I'm competing at the men's physique. I've always been a big fan of bodybuilding. Being able to actually do this with my wife helped me like really accomplish my goals into like reaching over into bodybuilding. My biggest thing about this show probably is like just being able to be in the best shape of my life and being able to carry it on with my wife as well. I had my appendix removed 3 weeks into my training, and it was a real mental game for me. In the beginning it was really hurting, and then I had to just really dig deep. My wife motivated me to just keep pushing, and yeah, I surpassed it, dug deep, and I got back on track, and I feel great, and I'm ready to put on a show. It was really easy working with the guys at Health Bistro, Dr. D and Rusky. They pretty much told us what to do and motivated us every day, and all we had to do was just give it all 100 every day. I expect every competitor to give it all they got. I mean, everybody worked hard for this. I've never competed in bodybuilding before, so now I know all the obstacles and sacrifices that each competitors go through. Be able to even come up on stage is it's already a win-win for us.
GTA announced its support for the Huinalu Guam Ocean Club Surf into Summer Surf Camp at the Onward Beach Resort from July through August. The local telecom company empowers the island's youth by supporting groups and organizations that grow and develop the younger generation. Joe and Demi Villatora founded the Huinalu Guam Ocean Club in 2011, and both have been deeply involved in the Guam surf community for over 20 years. The annual summer camp offers surf lessons for children ages 8 through 17. Through GTA support, the company designed and donated dry fit shirts for all participants. The Huinalu Guam Ocean Club also offers water and surf safety lessons year-round. For more info about the Huinalu Guam Ocean Club, visit their Facebook page.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
Mobile offers a new and convenient way to fuel your vehicle. Pay gas and go. No need to line up inside the store. Press preset. Enter whole dollar amount without decimals. Press loyalty ID and enter your mobile number or insert Smiles card. Insert and remove payment card or tap contactless credit card. Begin fueling. And don't forget to grab your receipt. Pay gas and go. It's that easy.
Welcome back. We wrap up the show with your birthday shout-outs. Here's Jason Solis.
Happy birthday to Franklin J. Kanata, who turns 59 the day after July 21st, Liberation Day. And your shout-out says, happy birthday, number 59, old man. Hey, wow. Be safe and have a wonderful birthday. Love, smiling your sis Carmen and the family. Ro and Nash Mavilak, happy birthday to our beautiful Ate Ro. Thank you for coming home for your 20th birthday. Aw, we love you so much. Say daddy, mommy, Rad, and Raya. Stay happy, kind, and healthy, and God bless you more. And Dorothy Matanonia, happy blessed birthday to our sister Dorothy, who is in Foley, Alabama. Hey, enjoy your special day from your brother and sister-in-law, niece, and your nephew.
It's that time of the week where we announce the lucky winner of a Cold Stone Creamery cake.
Congratulations, Franklin J. Kanata, and happy Liberation once again. You are this week's winner of a Cold Stone Creamery ice cream cake. We're going to hit you up and let you know when you can pick up your prize. Happy extended birthday once again, and Viva Liberation! Viva Franklin! Viva ice cream cake!
And that's our show. I'm Hannah Devonzo. Thank you, and please stay safe, Guam.
Howdy, guys. We're back. One Micronesia podcast, another week, another episode. And for this one, man, I'm so excited. We shot Culture Club.
Yes.
That was fantastic. That was a fun shoot. But I was like, for Culture Club, it's always this 5-minute digital segment that's just out there for people to watch and get inspired and get to find her and what she does and the products that she puts out. Beautiful products. But I'm like, the talk needs to... I want to literally get to know you and talk about how it all started, like get in depth and just a longer conversation, pretty much. So on the podcast with me today, I do have Christian Leon Guerrero. Christian, thank you so much and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. So when we start, we get to know our guests. So let's start there. Tell us more about you, where you grew up, and stuff like that. Let's start there.
Well, I was born and raised here
Nice.
in Guahan. I relocated to Texas in 2015. And I came back for my grandmother's funeral. And when I came back, I told myself I was never coming back home ever again, right? Because I was like, look at, you see like all the, like the lack of upkeep, right? Or you just feel like maybe the mainland has like more opportunities.
Right.
And then I lost my mother shortly after.
Oh, sorry.
And then I had to fly back home again to bury her here. And when I flew back to Texas, I started to kind of question, where I really should be. And I decided to kind of ease my missing home with sterling silver jewelry. So I thought, okay, let's just open up a business. Let's just sell like beach themed jewelry. And I think I only did one drop of that before I found other cultural artists on Instagram. And I was really just blown away. I ran into a bunch of carvers, and the way that they displayed our culture, it was like captivating, and it was pretty much like undeniable. Like, wow, we're really here almost 4,000 years later. We're really doing this. And it was so motivating. And that's what pretty much got me into carving, was learning about all of these people that are my generation, my age, doing this and doing their work to perpetuate our culture through wearable art. So
that's awesome.
I haven't stopped since. I threw the whole concept of sterling silver jewelry away, and I'm like, we're not doing that. And this is all I do now.
Nice. Yeah. And we're gonna get to that part in the next part of our little talk here. But let's kind of take it back. I mean, you talk about you grew up here, you moved to the States. So talk about that whole transition of an island girl from Guam. Ooh. And then now you're in the States. Now you're probably in a community where you don't see much, or maybe you do. So let's talk about that experience.
Yeah, it was very. When they say culture shock, that's an understatement, because it's like everything you thought you knew, it doesn't exist anymore in this part of the world, right? So it was even crazy simple things. Like at one time I was a preschool teacher, and I had got Taco Bell, and I offered my coworkers some food, and they were like, "You just want to give it to me?" But here it's like, it's normal, right?
Yeah, it's like, hey.
It's like you offer anybody anything here. And so the heat, I came in the middle of fall, or winter. And that was insane. I was like, what in the world is this? And then the summers are horrible. There's no 96 degrees in the shade. But yeah, there's not many Chamorro people there, at least not in the city that I live in. It was always just work and home and work and home. And you know, it's there. You can't just go drive to the beach. I think the closest beach is like 8 hours away.
Wow.
And
whereas to here is like, what, 10, 12
right.
minutes away?
Yeah. So it was a very strange place to be. And just like a lot of people, we left for, you know, the quote unquote better opportunities. And yeah, I'm happy to come back home. I'm just really, really excited to move home for good.
That's good. And I've talked to so many people on the interview, and they always say the same thing. It's like, you know, of course you talk about you moving out, the family moving out for better opportunities out there. But at one point in time, and everybody said this, at one point in time, you tend to long for the islands and
really
long for your culture and your family. And at one point in time, you're like, okay, I think I'm good. And now I think going back home is the next step.
I'm ready to come home. Yeah,
that's awesome. And you're back home. How's it going so far?
I don't want to get on the plane and head back, but it's been really, really nice. I would say, like, being in the mainland, it's a lot of you know, you gotta constantly hustle. You gotta be on the grind. But you know, I think that's the one good thing it taught me being back there was, like, yes, a good work ethic, but now I guess I'm kind of smarter with that. And I started a business back there, so now I know how to have a business here. And yeah, I'm just really excited
that's good.
to move back home with the things that I've learned back there.
And then you split time between here and Saipan. You have family in Saipan as well?
I do have family in Saipan, so yeah, we're trying
What side of the family is from Saipan?
Both my mother's side, her parents,
nice.
They're
wow.
both from Saipan. Yeah.
See, that's amazing. Like you were born and raised in Guam. You're also from Saipan, so you go back and forth. And
you know what? I've only been to Saipan a handful of times, but that was when I was a kid. So I'm excited to explore my motherland as an adult.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a different. You're gonna see it in a different perspective. For now you get to appreciate things more, and you get to visit the different landmarks and different places, and the cultural and
the history. The history. We're all one people, but I feel like Saipan and Guam, we have different historical events, right? And maybe some different traditions, if you will, right? So I'm excited to learn more about that. My grandfather from my mother's side is actually part Carolinian. So I'm excited to try to connect with maybe some Carolinian people in Saipan.
That's nice. And learn the language too, because that's a whole other side of the Chamorro language as well.
And the customs too. Yeah.
Oh,
so.
I'm excited for you.
I'm excited for myself. Like, yes, we're excited. And we're not going to be back home. I mean, I think the next time we're going to be home is when we move for good. So I'm trying to soak up this whole entire 3 months.
Do it.
Yes, I'm so happy.
All right. So we're going to take a break.
Okay.
But when we come back, we're definitely going to get into the business. I know you kind of touched on it just a little bit of how you got inspired to start it.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
I have a tablet. I have no TV. Ooh, TV on Tab. Get live TV on your tablet or any device with DTV Plus from Docomo Pacific. Watch live channels or stream from your favorite apps on any device, all from your home Wi-Fi. No cable lines, no hassle, more savings. All for only $35 a month with your link bundle. DTV Plus, your cable TV on Wi-Fi. Ooh, TV on Tab.
MTO Maintenance will now completely sanitize your home, office, or business with state-of-the-art commercial sprayers. For over 30 years, MTO Maintenance has been committed to the health and safety of our customers. And now, more than ever, a clean home, office, carpets, and furniture is a necessity to our island. Give us a call today. Stay healthy and stay safe, Guam.
Call 647-6861 for an appointment.
As the Decision 2022 race shapes up, keep it with KUAM News for all the news you need to know as you head to the polls. From weekly candidate profile analysis on the Hub on KUAM News Hotspot to our online candidate directory on KUAM.com, special features on KUAM Digital and KUAM News Primetime, plus live coverage of forums and debates. We're your one-stop source on every platform. Stay informed with KUAM News, your news leader, the voice of the Marianas.
Hafide and Mogathin, welcome back. One Micronesia podcast. We're still here with Christian Leon Guerrero, the owner of Saltwater Empress, an amazing business that you started. You do jewelry. You don't just sell it; you actually make it and sell it. That's so beautiful, and that's why we got you on Culture Club to talk about that side of an aspect of what you do is the carving side and selling Chamorro jewelry. That's amazing. So let's talk about that. You touched on it when we first started, how you got inspired to start. So how's the business and kind of talk about it from the beginning, like how it all started.
You mean like the carving
Yeah.
process? Okay. So the carving, I think the first thing we have to do when we want to carve is we have to do research. You know, it's a lot of learning about the stories of the past, right? We have to learn about motifs and pottery designs, even the legends, right? So the creative process, it's kind of hard to explain. You know, I kind of get inspired, and I just pick up a random, material, and I'm like, what can I do with this? You know, how can I translate the stories that I just learned about through shell, right? Through carving. So it's a lot of I'm just thinking about our
you're
process.
good. Yeah. You can just take us, process like inch by inch of what,
how it's done. Yeah. So with the sanahi like this, let's say we have to we take giant clam, which is what we call hema, and we got to slice it and we create a crescent moon. So this one's a double-sided one. This one tells the story of my husband and I coming back to culture. So this is a land. This symbolizes our culture, and then the back of it there's the two waves, and then the human spirit carved into it. But when we do the pendant, we got to cut it out, and then we draw some patterns on it, and it's a lot of figuring out, what pattern is higher, and then what pattern is lower. And then with the beads specifically, they come as raw form. They come as full spondylus shells with the thorns on it and everything. So we have to dethorn it.
Wow.
We have to, of course, make them round and make the beads, and then we have to level each bead off. At least that's my process, right? So we level each bead off, we polish it, sand it, string it up, and yeah, it's something like this because I like to, I really am a slow carver. I don't like to rush a lot of things. Something like this, if we're doing like even a full strand of spondylus, it could take me over a week if I sat down, and that's just because we're fairly new, So we just started carving not too long ago, so it takes me quite a bit of time. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of dedication and discipline to sit there. And sometimes I ask Guel and Guelu, like, why this? Because now, of course I love it. Now I appreciate it so much, but sometimes it's like, dang, they really sat here with no power tools at all.
Yes.
And if you go like into the Guam Museum, you can see all, the actual artifacts, the beads and stuff. And it's so clean, it's so pristine. So the fact that we are having difficulty or struggles with modern tools, it makes you appreciate their process without it.
You wonder like what their process is even probably longer or to do, because now with tools, the time that it takes to kind of like shave down, to carve, kind of like is literally, it cuts it off a whole lot. But back then you think about our ancestors sitting down, like you said, like no power at the beach or at the underneath the huts, and carving out jewelry is just mind blowing.
Yeah, there's something for us, feels so special. It's hard to describe unless you do it yourself, but I feel such a deep connection when that power tool is on. And, we like to say that we literally are risking our lives out here trying to make cultural jewelry, because anything can go wrong. Like you can sand your fingers off, you can cut yourself, things fly, you've got to wear protective gear. So when I hold these creations in my hand, of course, during the creation process, sometimes I'm in tears, like, truthfully, because I just think about how they left these artifacts for us to find. This was part of their identity. And to know that almost 4,000 years later, we are still telling their stories. It's an honor to sit there with the Dremel and help bring these, creations back to life in a more modern way, really.
Awesome. Yeah. So, let's talk about some of the reactions that you've got over time through the jewelry and the creations that you've got, and people have purchased it, and talk about their reactions to those art creations.
Yeah. So I think after we complete a piece, we do take the time to try to photograph them in a beautiful way and display them on our page. And it's insane that there are a ton of people who have been following us, or who started following us, found us on Instagram, and they didn't know what spondylus was. They didn't know what giant clam was. They didn't know anything about cultural jewelry, especially the people who live in the diaspora, in the mainland or elsewhere. They've never had the opportunity to see something like it in real life. It's hard for them to find back there. So when they have it in their hands, it sparks something in them, and it tells me to keep doing it, because sometimes, they cry, they're in tears as well. They want it either to feel more connected to our culture from so far away. It can be so lonely living far away, even if you have a bunch of family and friends. And the fact that we're able to give them this gift of cultural jewelry to help them kind of connect, it's an amazing thing. And we get such positive feedback, and we are constantly being thanked in our DMs, like, thank you for doing this work. And I'm like, no, thank you, because I can do this work all day long, but without you guys, you know what I mean? Like, we would just be carving because we love to, but it is an actual business. But they are so thankful in the DMs and so appreciative of our art. So
I think it goes more than just the business.
Yeah,
right? You talk
for
about
sure,
that.
Absolutely.
A lot of people that I've got on that are doing this kind of work, either through jewelry, through T-shirts, whatever, and putting on designs that is of that represents their culture out there is really just, I think what you talked about just a little bit, like you making that connection, or even they're out there, they're doing what they're doing, but at one point in time they feel lost, and we talk about identity and not knowing, like, okay, so when you give them that jewelry, I think it sparks that room, like, what, it's about time I start researching about home. I maybe start planning a vacation back home, because we've never been back home for so many years. So I think that jewelry, that little jewelry that you give them, I think is just that thing that they needed to get back into thinking about home and culture and everything. Yeah,
I like to say we just need to remember, because we don't forget. We don't forget. I feel like it's already deeply rooted into us, who we are. We just kind of need that little push to help you, remember, like, oh, there is this whole culture, because it's so easy to get lost in a modern world, with everything going around and outside influences. And so it's easy to lose sight of culture and traditions. And So it's nice that when they connect with us and they do get their pieces, it brings them closer to home.
Wow. Yeah. Beautiful. Inspiring as well.
Yeah. It motivates me to keep on going. Yeah.
That's awesome. Christian, we're going to take a break. But when we come back, we're going to talk about the future of Saltwater Empress. And maybe not even Saltwater, but what do you want to do? And we'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. You're watching the One Micronesia podcast, BRB.
Half a day. I'm Governor Lou Leon Guerrero, and I'm proud to report that we have opened a new relief center to help you as we continue to recover from the pandemic.
From healthcare to welfare, childcare, housing, and utilities, we have a wide variety of direct relief programs available to help you.
This central location provides direct access to most of our public assistance programs under one roof. Our friendly staff are ready to help you through the application process.
We are working to ensure you get the assistance you need to receive the relief available to you and your family.
This means more support to help you meet the cost of living and give you more money in your pocket.
We are improving how government is working. Our administration continues to invest in Guam's future, delivering relief and driving our recovery.
We are all in this together.
Visit the Government of Guam Relief Center at the 3rd floor of the Bank of Hawaii building in Hagåtña, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or call us at 671-475-2060.
Hafide and Mogathin, welcome back. One Micronesia podcast. We're still here with Christian Leon Guerrero, the owner of Saltwater Empress. We talked about a lot of things. We talked about how it all started for her. She was born in Guam, moved to the States, and then along the way she found the love to carve these beautiful creations that she does. And then we talked about the business, how it's going, how people are reacting to it. Such an inspiring and such a very inspiring story that you got. So let's talk about it. The future of Saltwater Empress. Of course, the store right now is online. It's on Instagram, and you guys have a website.
We do. Okay. We do have a website. The goal is to one day soon move back home to have a shop where I can carve. Hopefully not teach, because that is, I hold the word teach with high reverence, and that's for the masters, but maybe kind of mentor people who are interested in getting, into carving. Our heart really tells us to do a lot of grassroots charitable work. So we are working on something called the Couture Party.
Wow.
And we had our first ever one last year, and it was an amazing night. It was so chill. It was at my husband's in-laws house, and it was, I think, about like a group of 8 or 9 carvers. But the objective of and the mission of the Couture Party is so that us artists can get together and collaborate and create a single piece that has been touched by all of our hands to auction that piece off to raise money for nonprofit organizations. Wow. So this year we're hoping to have it public events, and we'll share all of that a little bit later. But that's my husband and I. It's a lot of the giving back is what we're really interested in, not just the profits, for selling. We're interested in truly helping our community through these small efforts, because I feel like that there's nothing more Chamorro than helping each other. There's nothing more islander than helping each other, right? It's what they call an FMLic, and I feel like if we just work together, right, we can truly see change. So it's those small passion projects that we're interested in having. We want to come back home. We want to learn how to make Amit, traditional medicine. We are interested in traditional navigation, all the good things, and we know that you can't master 2 things in a whole entire lifetime, but I feel like if you spend your whole life doing everything that makes you feel whole, and then you do your part to perpetuate that, that's going to be worth it for us. So that's what it looks like. Hopefully that's a 5-year plan to come back home and really hit the ground running. But for right now, our hearts are full, overflowing with love just from carving. Yeah. Wow. So hopefully soon you'll see a shop, but we also do like the slow pace of working at home.
Yes.
And an intimate setting. My husband and I, he helps me a lot too. So hopefully one day, but one thing at a time. I think the thing that's most important to us, besides opening a shop, is to really give back more and to find ways to do that. And we want to do that through collaborative efforts with other people who care about the same thing, so we can spark excitement and change in other people, you know.
That's nice. And you did before we shot your culture club, there was an event. What did you put that together, or was that?
That was our workshop. It was with me, Kelsey from Banana Leaf Tumblers, and Meeks from Everything in Between. And my part specifically was to make jewelry in front of people. So we didn't have any carving going on, but we had already made pendants and beads, and you bought your ticket to come to our workshop, and it was a kind of like a semi-custom experience. It was like a one-on-one thing, and you sat down with me and we did your measurements, and we strung it up how you liked it. So it was a very intimate setting. That was really fun, and I'm thinking I should do another one of that before.
I was going to ask, are you going to do one more?
I think I should, yeah. But it takes a long time because, I didn't want to rush anybody. I don't have the opportunity to see my customers face to face all the time because we're solely e-commerce. So all we do is we operate on a website. Right. So yeah, I think I'm going to do another one because it was fun. You see their faces, they light up, and they don't even care how long it's going to take. They just want to, and the coolest thing is like they don't care how long it's going to take you. They want to sit in your presence and they want to just vibe. And for us, that means so much. It means that they're truly supporters of you. And
now they're not just an account on Instagram that's DMing you. Now you're seeing this person face to face, and like you're just seeing their reactions, and you're going back and forth and chatting and getting to know them. I think that's what really makes any business. It gives it this whole meaning of why they do things that they do, and especially with you, why you carve, why you make jewelry, and it definitely to inspire people. That's awesome. All right, Christian, we're going to take a break. But when we come back, it's the last part of it, the final remarks, where people can find you on social media. We'll do that coming up right after this. We'll be right back.
Santa Fe family.
KUAM Communication is your home for star-studded entertainment from America's top networks. From specials, concerts, award shows, and can't-miss red carpet moments. It's all on KUAM TV 8 and KUAM TV 11. Check KUAM.com and our social media pages for showtimes and schedules. Network specials on KUAM Communications are brought to you locally by King's Restaurants, Ruby Tuesday Guam, and Docomo Pacific.
Hot Day and Mogiting, we're back. One Micronesia podcast, the last part of the interview here. We get to hear her last remarks, and then we'll get to find out where you guys can go find Saltwater Empress, the website, the IG. We'll find that out coming up in just a little bit. But Christian, before you go, a message to your before the message to your followers, your take on, I know I asked you this question during Culture Club, and maybe if somebody missed it, perpetuating the culture, a message to this generation of ours, and what message would you tell them to inspire them to continue to do what they're doing to perpetuate and keep the culture alive?
I would tell them to really make the time. We talked about that in Culture Club, to really make the time to find out about traditions, but to listen to the stories. I learned from Fafanagui Heidi Kinga that there's a difference between listening and hearing, right? So anybody can hear, but are you listening? So my biggest advice would be to really seek out those interactions. There's so much peace that you can find within tapping back into your culture. I'm living proof, like I feel so at peace. The vibrations are so much higher. So I suggest to anybody who maybe is feeling a little bit lost, maybe is kind of interested in getting back into culture, seek out the elders, but if maybe you're a little bit uncomfortable with seeking out, people that are not within your age group, there's a lot of activists out there. There's a lot of cultural practitioners, even young ones, and it's amazing to see. So make the time to really understand how magical we really are. I always tell everybody that the people of the Mariana Islands and Native descendants, people from Pacifica as a whole, there's something truly magnificent about us, and maybe we forgot what it is, but to truly learn while you can from the people that are still alive, that hold the most knowledge.
Wow.
So you cannot go wrong if you tap into culture. You really cannot. And we have nothing to lose from learning about who our ancestors were, learning about their practices and traditions. And, they kept the Marianas pristine for thousands of years. And the fact that we do now still to this day have people who are knowledgeable about those practices, we have to take advantage of that. Because when they're gone, who are we going to turn to for these practices? We're going to have nobody. So we need to remember and learn. It's a lot of unlearning, right, at the same time. So yeah, just truly make an effort to learn about culture, whatever you're interested in, whether it be weaving, carving, medicine making, traditional navigation. And you don't have to learn it all. I say take it in small doses if you have to, because it can be really overwhelming, especially if you knew nothing about it before, like myself. Sometimes it's a little bit, it's overwhelming, the knowledge that you can, or the things you learn, right? So, but definitely do try. That's my number one, I guess advice, if you will, right?
Amazing. And very inspirational as well. Like you talk about that, tapping into the culture and especially learning from the elders. You talk about they have this knowledge, right? And if you don't ask, it's just gonna, we need to take it from that generation and build it within this generation, because the next generation after us is going to need to know. So
for sure.
That's the goal. That's amazing. So before I let you go, a message to your to the fans, to followers, to customers of Saltwater Empress.
Wow, there's really not enough words to thank anybody for the amount of support and the love that we get. But if I could just say Saina Maasi, Suduas Maasi, that means their support means a lot. I'm getting emotional because it means a lot, because like I said, we find so much peace in culture, right? And because of our supporters, we can continue to be on this wonderful journey, right? So to say thank you, Saina Maasi, Suduas Maasi, that's not enough. But we just want to say that we appreciate even the words of encouragement, even the connections that we receive through our DMs, right? It's beautiful, and it makes us so grateful to be doing this work. We feel honored to be doing this work.
Awesome. And just for you, we close out here. Where can people go find Saltwater Empress, the website, the IG? Where can people go see these amazing creations, and how they can go ahead and make purchase if they see something they like?
We have a website, saltwaterempress.com. We do periodic drops there. We just kind of create whatever our mind wants us to create. You can find it on saltwaterempress.com. And then we do accept custom orders. You can find us on Instagram @_saltwaterempress. And then Facebook is @Empresses Empowering Empresses. But if they just type in Saltwater Empress on any platform, y'all can find that.
Okay. All right. Well, Christian, thank you so much. That was a very inspirational talk. You got
make me cry again. You made me cry in the Culture Club interview, but it's okay. You know what? Tears are omit, so
it is. Yeah. Tears are very powerful and very amazing things. So, Christian, thank you so much. What an awesome talk.
Thank you.
And good luck to you guys. I know the 5 years, you laid down the 5-year plan. Hopefully, everything comes into order and plays out the way you guys thought of. Like I said, you have a lot of events coming up. So you guys out there watching, go follow the Instagram. I'm pretty sure all the announcements are going to be on there. So go follow the Instagram and continue to support local.
Suduas Maasi, thank you for having me today.
Well, it was such an amazing talk. Thank you so much, Christian.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, that pretty much wraps it up. One Micronesia podcast.